Of course, we're not taking you to Bondo. Those are the live pictures, thousands upon thousands of people coming out in the streets in large numbers to mourn the man who molded their political view in his lifetime. And of course, we continue to give you this live coverage. We have our reporters who are on the ground and of course tracking the happenings everywhere. And so we should be giving you of these coverage. As I told you, we are live in Bondo. And of course, we're also going to be live in Kisumu, live in Nairobi, as well as in many other places. We are also waiting for the official communication. And of course, we are expecting the government to make a major announcement this afternoon. And so we are going to be live in different places to update you on what is happening. As I told you, Raila Odinga died last night at the age of 80, and he died while undergoing treatment in India. Well, Raila Odinga political journey has been or started more than 4 decades ago, and he has shaped the Kenyan political as well as governance narrative for the last 40 plus years, culminating with his appointment as Kenya's Prime Minister back in 2008 following the post-election violence that was triggered by the 2007 election. And Raila Odinga has served in many positions in Kenya. He has served as a Minister for Roads, Minister for Energy, and also different portfolios. He was the leader of the Orange Democratic Movement, which entered into a political pact with the United Democratic Alliance last year. If you're just joining us, breaking news, of course, coming from India regarding the death of Raila Amolo Odinga, who was undergoing treatment in India. The live pictures on your screen are coming to you from Bondo in Siaya County, where thousands and thousands of people his ancestral home to pay tribute and of course to mourn the man they have known for many years as Jacom. And any time from now, we should be linking up with our reporter who is already there. We also have a team which is keeping tabs on what is happening at his Nairobi home here in Karen. And so once we get the link from there, we should be going there to give you the latest in terms of what's happening here. We also have our team in Nakuru County, and we should also be getting their feed anytime it is stable. Well, that is what exactly is happening. And of course, as I told you, we are waiting for that major announcement by the government on the way forward. And we're also waiting to hear from his family on what is going to, or how the situation will unfold from now. I'll also be joined by a team of eminent personalities who worked with Raila Odinga closely, both at the government as well as the private level. If I can take you through Raila Odinga's journey. Raila Odinga is the son of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was Kenya's first vice president and a prominent independent leader. And Raila was educated at Miranda High School and later traveled to Germany in the 1970s, where he studied mechanical engineering at the Technical School of Magdeburg, now the part of Otto von Guenrich University in Magdeburg. After returning to Kenya, Raila worked as a lecturer at the University of Nairobi and later held various positions in the private and public sectors, including the Kenya Bureau of Standards, where he rose to become the deputy director. Raila began his political career back in 1970s, where he gained national prominence in 1980s as a pro-democracy activist. He was detained by the former regime of the late President Daniel Arap Moi for his political activism back in 1980s. In 1992, he was elected as Member of Parliament for Langata constituency under the Forum for the Restoration of Democracy, better known as FORD. And in 1997, he served in different ministerial roles, including the Minister of Energy. This is after his party, the Liberal Democratic Party, entered into a political pact with the KANU regime. In 2002, Raila is credited with helping President Mwai Kibaki the late to assume and to unseat KANU under the Rainbow Coalition, or the National Rainbow Coalition, better known as NARC. And we all remember that euphoric moment back in 2002 when NARC Kenya ended KANU's 40-year rule. Well, in 2004 or in 2003, Raila Odinga was appointed the Minister for Roads by Mwai Kibaki the late, who was the president at that time. And we all remember he steered the construction of major bypasses here in Nairobi, the northern bypass, the southern bypass, as well as the eastern bypass. It is credited, the construction of these critical arteries that surrounds the city of Nairobi, are credited with Raila Amolo Odinga when he was the Minister for Roads. We all remember how buildings were brought down to pave way for the construction of those critical arteries. And these were parts of the grabbed land by prominent, influential politicians during the KANU era. And in 2005, Raila Amolo Odinga, as the Minister for Roads, led the No campaign in the constitutional referendum that led to the splitting of the NARC coalition and gave rise to the Orange Democratic Movement. And this is a movement that was founded by some of Kenya's prominent politicians, including the current president, William Ruto, the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, the former tourism minister, Najib Balala, as well as the former minister for health and Kitui governor, Charity Gili. Those were the critical people who were key in the formation of the Orange Democratic Party back in 2005. Other critical members of what was known as the Pentagon back then was the former Cooperatives Minister, Mr. Nyaga. The pictures that you are seeing on the screen were taken earlier in Raila's home in Karen, and that is President William Ruto consoling and consorting with Raila's wife, Ida Odinga. That was earlier on at his Karen home. That is also the mining cabinet secretary, Ali Hassan Joho, who also visited Raila's home in Karen to condole with the family of the late Raila Amolo Odinga. The president there in deep thoughts. That is the National Secretary of ODM, Edwin Sifuna, also there. And if I am not wrong, the man facing him looks like ICT Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Kabogo. And so those are the images of what was happening at his home. As you can see, various cabinet secretaries, including the Interior Cabinet Secretary, Kipchumba Murkomen there, as well as Lands Cabinet Secretary, Alice Wahome, together with Mining Cabinet Secretary, who was also Raila's confidant, Ali Hassan Joho. Also in the same picture, you can see various politicians there aligned to the Orange Democratic Movement there, various members of parliament there who flocked to Raila's house early this morning. I think I can also see Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire, who was also a friend of Raila Odinga there. You can also see Minister for or Cabinet Secretary for Tourism, Rebecca Miano there, as well as the other key government officials there, senior government officials there. Remember, there was a visit by the cabinet to Raila's home in Karen. That is President William Ruto there, flanked by senior members of the government. That was earlier on at Raila Odinga's home. As you can see, Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki was also present in that meeting, as well as Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga, who of late has assumed critical leadership in the Orange Democratic Movement, becoming the national chairperson, was also part of that meeting. So those are pictures of what transpired in Raila's home earlier on, and those are live pictures. Let me see whether they are live. These are pictures from Bondo, if I'm not wrong. Yes, remember, Bondo is Raila Odinga's ancestral home in Siaya County, and thousands upon thousands of people thronged to his homestead once the news of his demise reached the national spectrums. Well, if you're just joining us, we're giving you live coverage of today's event following the death of Raila Odinga early this morning while he was undergoing treatment in a hospital in India. Raila Odinga died at the age of 80. After many years in Kenya's political space, the man continues to touch the lives of thousands of people, not only here in Kenya, but also in Africa and the large world. We just now want to take you to Bondo, where our reporter Wycliffe Okech is going to give us more updates on what is happening there. Wycliffe Okech, if you can hear me, what do you want to tell us at this moment from Bondo?
Well, thank you so much, O'Brien Kumani. Remember, actually, right now we are in Bondo town. That is Raila's hometown here in Bondo, in Siaya County. The pictures that you saw live on air, those were pictures that we have captured at Raila's rural home. That is in Opoda Farm. That is about less than 2 kilometers from where we are right now. I believe you can see what's happening in my background. These are shops that ordinarily they are operational, but you can see right now they are closed. There's very minimal business going on here. Actually, just one accountable shop that are open for business. That tells you the mood on the ground here. The locals here are mourning the passing of their son. They, just like the rest of the country or the other parts in the country, they are actually shocked by the passing of a man that they have massively followed politically for decades, and the passing of Raila Odinga is actually a shock to them. But again, before I continue, let me just invite a few locals here, maybe 2 or 3, to share with us. I wasn't able to do this at Raila's home, that is at Opoda Farm. You could see how the mood there, actually, they were not able to listen to us. They just demanding to know what happened that led to the death of their son. Actually, I think that is an announcement that they expect from probably from the family, and to some extent from the head of state also, to make an announcement regarding the passing of Raila Odinga. Before continuing, let me just engage a few locals here that may be able to speak and share with us what they have to say about the passing of Raila Odinga. Brother, how are you?
I'm good.
I'll ask you to look into the camera, and as a local, how did you learn the passing of Raila Odinga, and what will you say about the situation?
Okay.
Your name first?
Okay. I'm Joseph Uchieng Kongo. I'm living here in Bondo, and this news of the death of Raila Odinga has left us with a very big shock. And we don't know what we can even say about Raila Odinga, because we are still with a lot of pressure. We cannot tell more about Raila. Yeah.
The reality is that we no longer have Raila Odinga. This is a region where Raila has had a very massive following politically. We, the region, has followed Raila for decades. He has been their political leader, so to speak. Whatever he says is almost as certain as law. What gap do you think the passing of Raila leaves in this region?
Okay, now in this region, we have been just left here with nothing, totally nothing. And we are just praying God will stand with us as a Luo and as a nation. But for now, we cannot say anything more. Yes.
You live here. What is your hustle? What do you do for a living, and why you are probably not at work now?
Here in Bondo, I'm a motorbike rider. And today there is no business in this town. You can see everything is closed. We are just here. We cannot, the movements are there, but people are not doing business. The businesses are closed.
Where are people? Where are the locals? I can actually, those that we are passing by are accountable. Where are people?
Okay, like this street, it's normally full at around this, like it's now afternoon. It's normally full, but today, people, the way you can see, everything is closed, so people are not in the street. Maybe if you go up there, you'll find some people in groups, because there is no business at all. Yeah.
Sawa. Ndugu, naweza kuja pia tusikie kutoka kwako. Simama hapa, tazamia pale, utueleze unaitwa nani, wewe kawaida unafanya kazi gani kama kujitafutia riziki, na siku ya leo ile ujumbe kuhusiana na kifo chake Raila Odinga, wewe umeipokea vipi? Jina kwanza.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Philip Otieno Ada. Kwa majina mimi naitwa Philip Otieno Ada. Hii kifo ya Raila imetusinya sana. Hata saa hii mimi ni mtu wa boda, hakuna biashara inaendelea. Hakuna kitu chochote inaendelea hapa Bondo. Watu wako na uchungu, maduka zimefungwa, hata transport haiendi through. So tuko na uchungu sana, hatuwezi, kitu chenye tunaweza fanya ni tumemwachia tu Mungu. Ndio tutatulinda sisi.
Asante sana. Mama, njoo pia nawe useme lako. Tueleze wewe unaitwa nani, kazi yako kila siku ya kujichumia riziki ni gani, na siku ya leo utaweza kusema vipi kutokana na kifo chake Raila Odinga? Tazamia pale, mimi nitakushikia microphone.
Kwa majina naitwa Ann Olali, mimi ni mkaji wa Bondo, na kumwamkia leo asubuhi kuangalia simu nikapata baba yetu ambao tulikuwa tunampenda sana, ambaye anaitwa Raila, amefariki. Tulikuwa na huzuni, hata chai hatukupika nyumbani, hatuja kunywa chai hata paka saa hizi. Mimi nafanya biashara hapa Bondo, niko na duka. Hiyo duka yangu sijaifungua kwa sababu naona ni kama nimepoteza mzazi wangu, nimepoteza baba yangu ambao nilikuwa napenda na moyo wangu yote. hata sijui nitafanya nini vile saizi hatuna ule mtu ambao tunaweza sema Raila tatupiganinia, Raila tatusimamia, Raila tatueleza tufanye hivi, Raila tatuambia fuateni njia, fuateni hivi, wacheni maandamano, fanyeni hivi. Sasa kuna ule mtu ambao tunaweza tazama. Sasa mimi naomba tu Mungu atutulize tu, atupatie moyo ambao tunaweza so that we can admit that Raila is no more. Kwa sababu si rahisi sana, si rahisi, ni uchungu kwetu. We are crying. Bondo mzima kila mtu analia. Bondo mzima hakuna biashara inafanyika. Si hata Bondo peke yake, hata Masinani, huko Maushago hakuna kazi inafanyika. People are mourning about Raila because he was our father. It's very sad. Aniote.
Asante. Ndugu, hauna la kusema? Aya, sawa. O'Brien, there are some the locals here reacting to the sad news that regarding the passing of Raila Odinga. That is basically the mood on ground. You can see, like I mentioned, businesses are closed. Just little movement here. The locals here, either they are at Raila Odinga's rural home, that is a Poda farm, or there is a place called Nyamira. Nyamira, there is just a small area here in Bondo. That is where it's Kango Kajaramogi. Kango Kajaramogi, that's probably a Luo expression. That means the home of Raila's father, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. There are locals there. Some of them are there. Some of them are at Raila's place. Like you saw earlier on when we tried to go live from his home. It couldn't happen because I mean, that euphoric, the sad euphoric expression from the faces of the locals there tells you the mood on the ground. They are saddened, they are shocked by the passing of Raila Odinga. Well, it doesn't end here. We continue interacting with the locals here to get their reactions. And also from here, we are in Bondo town, but we want to go to Kango Kajaramogi to see what it looks like there. Actually, when we were at Raila's place, we got, okay, fine, the people are there. The gates are open, anyone can go in, can go into the home, but the doors to that house, to Raila's house, are closed. When I spoke to the security manning the door, the entrance to that house, they told me only a few workers are locked inside. I inquired if there is any family member at that home. I was told, the security told me there's no family member there. Only a few workers that were locked inside with the locals mourning outside within the home compound. Well, like I mentioned, we continue our coverage regarding the sad news regarding Raila's passing. And remember, actually, we were in CI earlier for the CITICO, the SIA International Trade and Investment Conference that was supposed actually to kick off. By the time we were leaving there, it was around by 11 a.m. Remember, that function was to kick off at 9. It hadn't kicked off yet, and by the time we were leaving there, SIA Governor James Orengo was to address us regarding this matter. He is there to do so. I believe probably there are protocols to be followed regarding the announcement of today's development. O'Brien, I hand it back to you in studio, but we continue our coverage regarding this sad news for the day.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Wycliffe Okech, there in Bondo town. A somber moment there, engulfing the town where Raila Odinga was born, that is in Siaya County. We'll continue to give you this level of coverage, and of course, as I told you, we have our reporters spread across the country, and they'll continue to give us events unfolding in those counties. And of course, we are expecting the official statement from the government. Once we have it, we shall be, of course, beaming it live for you. Well, if you're just joining us, we're giving you live coverage, special coverage of the late former Prime Minister and ODM leader Raila Odinga, who passed on this morning while undergoing treatment in a hospital in India. Raila Odinga has been a key politician in Kenya's political space, shaping various narratives and, of course, championing for democracy not only here in Kenya but in Africa. And so he was a celebrated Kenyan statesman even around the world. And I was giving you some history of Raila Odinga, where in 2007, Raila Odinga, after breaking away with the National Alliance for Rainbow Coalition, he vied for presidency under the ODM, or the Orange Democratic Movement Party. And we all remember how that went. The election was disputed, leading to the infamous post-election violence that left thousands of people dead and thousands of people maimed. And through a political truce, which was brokered by Ghanaian statesman, the late Kofi Annan, in 2008, Raila Odinga assumed the position of Prime Minister in the Grand Coalition government with President Mwai Kibaki, the late, where he held that position until 2013, where he vied again for presidency, but he lost to Uhuru Kenyatta. And if I can give you a little bit of a brief of his achievements when he was the Prime Minister, he was key in drafting Kenya's first economic long-term blueprint, the Vision 2030. And we all remember at that point, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o was the Minister for Planning and Economic Development. And he was aligned to the ODM side of the government. And he put a team that was in charge of ensuring that that critical document was developed and delivered. And this critical document is supposed to guide this country up to the year 2030. Well, before we continue, allow me to read various messages of condolences, and this is from the former Chief Justice, Honorable David Maraga, and this is what he says: "I am shocked to learn the demise of former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, a patriot, a Pan-Africanist, a Democrat, and a leader who made significant contributions to democracy in Kenya and in Africa. Kenya has lost one of its most formidable leaders who shaped the trajectory of our beloved country. Africa has lost a leading voice in pushing for peace, security, and development. The world has lost a great leader. During these difficult times, I pass my deepest condolences to Mama Ida and the entire Odinga family, to the people of Kibra constituency." Well, time now to take you to State House for a briefing, and then...
It is with deep sorrow that I inform the nation of the passing on of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, our former Prime Minister, Kenya's foremost statesman, and one of Africa's greatest sons. Kenya, Africa and the world mourn the passing on of a giant of democracy, a fearless freedom fighter, and a tireless warrior of good governance. Raila Amolo Odinga's name will forever be etched in the story of our republic, a story of struggle, sacrifice, courage, rule of law, hope, and of our pursuit for excellence. For decades, Raila dedicated his life to the pursuit of justice, equity, and freedom. He endured detention and persecution so that this nation might know and enjoy democracy. He championed reforms that gave birth to the rights and freedoms we hold dear today. His voice spoke for the oppressed. His conviction inspired generations, and his vision shaped the course of our history. Raila Amolo Odinga is truly a once-in-a-generation leader, a man whose ideals transcended politics and whose legacy will shape the destiny of Kenya for generations to come. A giant who towered for decades over our democratic landscape. He was a colossus of Kenya's modern politics, an indomitable warrior in our struggle for freedom and prosperity, and a statesman of boundless selflessness. In his passing, we have lost a patriot of uncommon courage, a Pan-Africanist, a unifier who sought peace and unity above power and self-gain, an unceasing servant of the people who gave his all to the promise of a better Kenya. On behalf of a grateful nation, I extend my deepest condolences to Mama Ida, his children, Rosemary, Raila Jr., and Winnie, the entire Odinga family, led by my brother Oburu Odinga, to the leadership and members of Orange Democratic Movement, and to all Kenyans who share in this immense and immeasurable loss. In honor of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga's extraordinary contribution to our nation, I have declared a 7-day period of national mourning, during which the national flag shall fly at half-mast across the Republic of Kenya and in all our missions abroad. As a mark of respect, I have postponed all my public engagements for the coming days, and I ask all other public servants and leaders to do the same so that we can join the nation in this period of mourning and deep reflection. Our former Prime Minister, Raila Amolo Odinga, shall be accorded a state funeral with all attendant honors. In consultation with the family, a committee to be co-chaired by the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, and the Siaya Senator Oburu Odinga has been set up to coordinate the funeral arrangements. At the same time, the Government of India, at the request of the Government of Kenya, has offered to facilitate the repatriation of the remains of our former Prime Minister. Consequently, a delegation comprising government officials and family members, led by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, is leaving immediately for India to facilitate proper organization in the repatriation of the remains of our brother, the Honorable Raila Odinga. Other members of the delegation are Cabinet Secretaries Kipchumba Murkomen, Hassan Joho, and other ministers, National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, Minority Leader Junet Mohammed, and other members of the Odinga family, Jaoko Oburu Odinga, Kevin Obio Oginga, and others. And Mama Ida herself, the family has finally decided that she will join those who will be going to recover the remains of the Honorable Raila Odinga. Fellow patriots, we have lost a beacon of courage, a tower of principle, and a father of our democracy. Let us come together as he always urged us to do, not as rivals, but as brothers and sisters bound by a shared destiny. As we mourn, I call on all Kenyans to reflect on his towering legacy and the lessons impacted by Right Honorable Raila Odinga's life, work, ideas, and example. In a political career spanning decades, Raila Amolo Odinga offered a compelling model of principled politics. And at a critical moment in our nation's journey, he always put Kenya first before individual or personal interest. May his soul rest in eternal peace. May God comfort his family. May God bless Kenya. I thank you. Leave it there for now. It's the CDF here will do the necessary requests to the Defense Council to facilitate the next steps in honor of the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Thank you very much.
Well, images on your screen right now. President William Ruto addressing the nation on the passing of the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. If I can take you through some of the major pronouncements that the President has made, is that from today he has declared a 7-day of national mourning. And during these days, our flag is going to fly at half-mast here in Kenya and at our foreign missions around the world. The President has also put on hold all his public engagements, and he has also directed cabinet secretaries and senior government officials to follow in suit. A state funeral will be conducted with all 8 national attendants. We are yet to know when exactly the burial will take place. A committee to oversee the burial plans of the former Prime Minister has also been set up. It's going to be led by Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki, and is going to be co-chaired also by Raila Odinga's elder brother and Siaya Senator Oburu Odinga. The government of India, in consultation with the government of Kenya, they are conducting, or they are going through the process of repatriation or the repatriation of Raila's body. As we speak, various cabinet ministers as well as senior government officers led by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi is on its way to India to start the process of flying Raila's body here in Kenya. And some of the team, some of the other people who are accompanying the Prime Cabinet Secretary include CS Kipchumba Murkomen, the CS for Interior Security, Hassan Joho, the Minister for Mining, Majority Leader in the National Assembly, Kimani Ichung'wah, Mama Ida Odinga, the late Raila's wife, Kevin Opio, among other family members, together with Junaid Mohammed, who is the minority leader in the National Assembly. The President has also sent his condolences to the family of the late Raila Odinga, starting with his wife, Ida Odinga, his children, Rose Odinga, Winnie Odinga, as well as Raila Jr. And he has said that the government is behind the family as well as the whole nation in mourning Raila Odinga. If you're just joining us, we are coming up on air with the breaking news of the death of the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who passed on this morning while undergoing treatment in India. President William Ruto has just addressed the nation and of course outlined various steps that the government is going to take to ensure that Raila Odinga is accorded state funeral befitting a man of his status. And of course, various leaders continue to mourn the fallen former Prime Minister And right now on your screen, we have Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu, who has just issued her mourning statement. And if I can take you through, she says, nimepokea kwa, no, I can't see clearly. Kwa masikitiko, yes. Kwa masikitiko makubwa, taarifa ya kifo cha Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Tumempoteza kiongozi mahiri, my eyesight is failing me. I can't see that clear. But actually what you're seeing is the statement of condolences by Tanzanian President Her Excellency Samia Suluhu. Also on the screen is Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. And Abiy Ahmed says, on behalf of the government of Ethiopia, I extend my sincere condolences on the passing of former Kenyan Prime Minister Raila Odinga. May he rest in peace. That is the message from Abiy Ahmed. We, of course, tracking all the happenings and, of course, giving you live coverage of events unfolding following the demise of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And, of course, in studio, I have a team who have worked with Raila in the past, and of course they will be guiding us in the conversation, trying to help us understand who Raila Odinga was and how he impacted their lives and what the former Prime Minister believed in. Time now to take you to Kisumu, where the Deputy Governor is speaking. Let's listen in.
At the Central Square. Finally, ODM office. And of course the ODM office, and of course we'll have another one at Ofafa. Yes. That's all we want to say for now, and we will be able to brief you in the very next future once you get all the information that we need to give you.
Joey. Wakenya musilale, lale lale, Wakenya musilale, bado mapambano, bado mapambano.
Koro kawuono pinyo kuyo.
Well, those are images coming to you live from the county of Kisumu, where the Deputy Governor is addressing the public there on the demise of the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. We continue to give you unrivaled coverage of today's event. And of course now in studio I'm joined by prominent Kenyans who have worked with the former Prime Minister, and I'm starting with the former Assistant Minister for Roads. This is Engineer Joshua Toro. If I can give you a brief, he deputized Raila Odinga as the Assistant Minister for Roads from 2003 to 2007. And so he worked closely with the former Prime Minister, and he knows the man quite well. Thank you very much, Engineer, for joining us here.
Thank you.
And of course, next to Engineer Toro, we have Leonard Kafafa. He's a governance expert, and he has also interacted with the former Prime Minister in various occasions. Thank you very much, Leonard, for your time.
You're welcome.
I want to, first of all, to hear from you, Joshua. I know you have lost a friend, a political mentor, among many other things. You must be having a message of condolence you would want to pass?
Yes.
You have the moment.
Thank you very much, Kimani, for inviting me at short notice to be here with you so that I can be able to at least throw some light on the former Prime Minister. So I take this opportunity first to give my condolences to Ida, his children, and the entire family, Jaramogi Oginga family, and the people of Siaya and the ODM fraternity for the loss of one person who has been able to hold together the family and the political party called ODM, and previously other political parties. So personally, I feel a big loss because when you want to know somebody very well and you work under him or her, that's the time now you see the character of the person who you are deputizing. Because either you'll be in correction course, or he'll be able to guide you and mentor you on his vision. And once you understand his vision, the rest becomes very easy. And for the time we work together as his deputy, I can say without fear of a contradiction that Raila is a great man. And we talk about other things. From the time I joined politics, elected member of parliament for Kandara constituency in the opposition. We found Raila also in opposition. And we worked very well in opposition, all of us, and came to know one another very well. And as a colleague engineer, we had a very good rapport. You know, they say birds of the same feather flock together. So we could understand one another as engineers. And that progressed very well from opposition to government. And by good choice, the late President Kibaki put me and him in charge of Ministry of Roads and Public Works and Housing at that time. Because he was confident the two engineers are going also to realize his dream. And Kibaki had a dream for this country, and I'm sure we did not disappoint him. Yes. Thank you very much.
Very well. Yes. I'll be coming back to you for more. Let's now hear your message of condolences to Raila Odinga's family and the nation.
Yeah, thank you, O'Brien, for having me. Yes, my condolences to the family of the late Honorable Raila Odinga, to Ida Odinga and the children, and to the greater Odinga family. My condolences also to the ODM fraternity, the party, and to the nation of Kenya. Not only to the ODM fraternity, but to the entire nation of Kenya. We all know that Raila has occupied the political space in Kenya across successive administrations, and we owe quite a lot to him. That is why it was fitting that the president made the announcement of his passing on, not just a family member. The president had to step in as befitting a statesman in this nation. And the one thing that the younger generation might want to know is that this is not for nothing. Raila is actually a true hero of the second liberation of Kenya. He took part in the liberation struggle. We had the independence struggle, and then after that, we had a struggle for multi-party politics to be allowed in this country. And a lot of the fundamental rights and freedoms that we enjoy as Kenyans are owed in large measure to Raila Odinga. Then the other loss to us is that he's one of the few conviction politicians in this country that we've had in this country. And his convictions would come through in very unpopular but expedient decisions. For example, Engineer Toro will tell you that when they were building the Nyeri Link Road, they had to take the unpopular decision of pulling down houses that had been constructed on those road reserves. Those were unpopular and politically costly decisions, but because he was a conviction politician, he took them. Then the other decision that he took that marked him out as a conviction politician was the eviction of the Mau forest. The squatters who had settled on the Mau forest. It was quite unpopular, and it is said that it actually cost him the voting block of the Rift Valley voting block. But that again was the quintessential Raila, a conviction politician who stood on his own fundamental ideals and held them dear to his passing on.
Very good. Yeah. Joshua, you worked under Raila Odinga. What kind of an engineer was he?
Well, he was an engineer, qualified engineer, just like me and others. And he was registered as an engineer. You don't get registered by by then, Institution of Engineers of Kenya, if you are not qualified. And also, back when he came from Germany, he spent some time as a lecturer in University of Nairobi. So, as an engineer, he was perfect. And also, even back before politics, he was in Kenya Bureau of Standards, developing standards for this country as an engineer. So I can vouch for him. You know, people have talked politically about Raila qualification as an engineer and whatever, but those people who talk about all those that nonsense, they don't know him because they have not worked with him as an engineer. People who want to judge, they have not been engineers, but they are quick to judge somebody. So we worked very well, both of us in the ministry, and the fact that we understood one another, and the fact that as engineers, you can only argue as engineers on some other issues, but not engineering issues. Once you tackle the issue of engineering and what is supposed to be done, then the rest is very easy because engineering has no two ways. It is either this or not this. So once you agree on the way forward, then you are able to move on. And because of that, he had a lot of trust in me. Let me say complete trust in myself. And if we reflect, and even those people who can remember that time when you are in the ministry, people can reflect and remember that I was the one who was in charge of parliamentary questions because he trusted that I'm going to articulate engineering issues and his wishes. So every day there were questions, roads questions, housing questions, which I answered throughout. And he never said that I'm overshadowing him. No. He would just, even when he's there, I answer when my minister is there, I rise and answer the questions. Only very few occasions when he would want to answer a question himself. And that one he would tell me in advance that this afternoon, during question time, I will be answering these questions. Then that's it. But apart from that, he delegated a lot of work to me. We were only two of us because Kibaki came in with a very lean cabinet. So there was only one minister and one assistant. And the Ministry of Roads, Public Works and Housing was huge, with only 2 engineers there, and we managed. So most of the time, we shared responsibilities. And we had a lot of work to do, traveling all over Kenya. Questions in Parliament had to be accompanied by visits, ministerial visits. And we were on our toes throughout to be able to satisfy the members of Parliament. Unlike now, it was good when ministers were members of Parliament also. So you are dealing with your colleagues, you are there throughout, and you come to the chamber, and any MP with any issue of roads or public works would approach you, and you discuss. In most cases, they didn't have to put questions if you answer them conveniently, or you agree to visit the constituency, to visit a particular road. Because most of the times, the engineers might not be able to give the ministers the correct information. So it was befitting for us, especially myself, to visit various constituencies and see the condition of roads. So that delegation of authority from Baba is something I never took for granted. And himself, he knew even when he's not around, maybe he's out of the country, the ministry was in good hands.
Was in good hands.
Yes.
One of the most memorable decisions that was ever taken by the ministry in 2003 was to construct the missing links around Nairobi, what we call the bypasses, the southern bypass, the northern bypass, the eastern bypass. And we remember government-owned trucks moving to the sites, demolishing houses worth millions of shillings. We still remember those images. How was that decision arrived, and how did Raila play a role in ensuring that the construction of those critical arteries took place?
Let me see. We had goodwill from the president himself. And at no time did the president indicate that since the people had constructed on the bypasses and the link roads reserve, that we should not be able to touch them.
Yeah.
So once we were convinced that these roads have to be done, and the president himself said that we need to rectify what went wrong. We had to reclaim the road reserves. No matter who has put structures on the road reserves, we had to reclaim them because they belong to the government. So when Raila made the decision as the minister that all those structures have to go down, then he had goodwill of the president. There was no way of president saying, no, stop. So we continued. I remember receiving some delegation from the people who are affected. Myself, they came to me because our fellow Kikuyus who had put up structures there, most of them. And then they said, they were telling me, do not follow what the minister is saying. These are our investments, which are going down, and we need, at least because you are here, we need to see you, for you to protect us. And then I quietly told them, I think this issue, if it can be addressed, if you can address this issue to the president himself, to tell us to stop, then we will get the directive from the president himself. But as far as we are concerned, as far as the minister is concerned, and as far as the president is concerned, we were given the green light to repossess all the grabbed road reserves. And it was very unpopular, but if Raila did not stand firm on that issue, by now we will not be having bypasses and link roads, because people are continuing to develop and coming with fake title deeds. By then, you remember title deeds. Once you have a title deed, it meant that land is yours.
Yeah.
But all those things were ignored, and people wanted to even construct more structures. But the most interesting thing is that there was no compensation that was done. Even for the structures that were demolished, there was no compensation because you did not own the land. So why are you putting a structure on government land? And within 6 months, the matter died. Because if the president is not for you to grab land, then where would you go? You cannot even go to court. So within 6 months, the matter ended, and we were able to continue with the design and the construction of the link roads and the bypasses. Yes. It was not easy.
It was not easy.
It was not easy.
But it was worth every decision.
Even today, people now know that if they were never constructed, Nairobi would be, at a standstill. People will not be able
because of traffic jam.
Traffic jam. Even now, with all those link roads and bypasses,
the traffic, the vehicles are still there. There are many. So you can imagine if it was never done, what sort of Nairobi would we be having? And even the outskirts, Roiro, yeah, and Embakasi, all those areas where the bypasses pass, up to Kikuyu, all those areas.
Karen and all that.
Yes.
And of course, we all understand that, you know, the development of some of these towns, you know, has been accelerated by the bypass.
Yes.
Leonard, I want to hear from you. Who was Raila to you?
Well, Raila, as the book rightly calls him, was an enigma. There was no single way of describing him, but he was a colossus. I mean, he was epic in every sense of that word. He's a man who could get things done by the sheer force of his personality alone. And we've seen across the decades, starting from the early 80s, when he backed the then President Moi because of the excesses of his regime, and he had to go into detention for a rather long stint. In fact, he's arguably one of the longest-serving detainees in Kenya. Then, of course, I mean, not just once, twice. Then, of course, you saw him come out, and then in the early 90s, push for the repeal of the Section 2A of the Constitution, then that allowed multipartyism in the country. And he was at the forefront of the people who ushered in multipartyism. Not the only one, but he was one of those at the forefront. Then the other thing that strikes me about him is that he's one of the few politicians who have actually resigned from a political party, resigned from his seat in parliament, and sought a fresh mandate from the people and prevailed. He's one of the few. You can count them on the fingers of one hand. Those who have resigned and stood on another party and made it to parliament out of conviction, out of nothing more than conviction. Because at the time, he would have just settled in and served his 5-year term as a parliamentarian and then moved on. But he resigned out of principle. So those are some of the things that define him. The fact that he's been able to hold the entire Luo nation. In fact, this is the first time, by the way, that the Luo nation is without a leader, even if it's a de facto leader. It's the first time that the Luo nation is without a leader, because from independent Kenya, that is. And it leaves things, I mean, it leaves, it raises a lot of questions, because Raila did not appoint a successor, nor could he have appointed a successor, not because of the sheer force of personality that he had. It was impossible for him to pick out somebody that would have been a duplicate of himself. So that's the kind of person we are talking about. Mysterious at every turn and opportunity, somebody that you could not easily understand, but somebody who was always at the forefront of change, and somebody who always pushed the nation forward, whichever way or whichever direction he took. The nation always moved forward.
Let's go back to history and look at Raila's early political life. And most people came to know about Raila Odinga in the 1982 during the attempted coup, when he was detained, and of course he started the clarion call for multipartyism. What do we need to know about Raila Odinga's early life in politics?
I think Raila Odinga is, let me borrow the word, has been an activist, if I may so borrow the word. He's one who is a person who could not stand any injustices of any sort, and he was also one who would always root for the underdog, for the common man, and he identified himself quite strongly with the underdog. Anecdotal evidence say that you would even find Raila deep in the middle of Kibera, holding court, with residents of Kibera. And Kibera is a slum. You don't expect somebody who was practically born with a silver spoon in the mouth to move down to the slums and to identify with people in the slums, to eat with people in the slums, and to become one of their own, and to call Kibera his bedroom. That was the kind of man Raila Odinga was. Always pushing, always fighting, always standing up for injustices. As we have alluded to earlier, 1982, the period around 1982 was preceded by a lot of repression, political repression. And there was a group of people who came up and they decided that they wanted to topple the then president through rather unconstitutional means at the time, the only means available at that time. That was by way of coup. And again, anecdotal evidence puts Raila at the center of the coup plotters. And that was the sort of person he was. And he continued. That was the kind of spirit he had, a very fiery spirit that would always stand up against any regime that practiced any excesses of any sort. So that's the kind of person Raila was.
And when you look at the history of Raila Odinga, I mean, it was not very clear to pinpoint whether Raila Odinga was a capitalist or a socialist, bearing in mind that he went to school to Germany at a time when Germany, socialism and capitalism was taking root. So when you look at him, what would you say shaped his early political life?
I think he was a mix of both worlds. I mean, having grown up in a capitalist family environment, because his parents were, his dad actually was, so his dad was among those who ushered independence into Kenya. But again, as you have rightly said, a lot of his links were socialist, having grown up having gone to school in East Germany. But Raila himself best described himself as a social democrat. So he has a mix of both worlds, of both capitalism, the best of capitalism, and the best of socialism. So that's what he described himself, and I think that's what informed his struggle against the excesses of any regime. Yeah, he was a social democrat. Yeah.
Engineer, having worked under Raila Odinga as Assistant Minister for Roads, what would you say Raila Odinga cared deeply for in this country?
Well, thank you. I can say this without fear of contradiction. Raila hated corruption. And Raila wanted things to be done the proper way. And that one is a testimony of what achievement we did in the road networks in Kenya. When we formalized the blueprint, because Vision 2030 was pegged heavily on infrastructure. So when we worked on Vision 2030 and how, according to the president, the late President Kibaki, said that we should look into the infrastructure. Because without infrastructure, there are areas that are dragging behind. Not because the people there cannot grow economically, but because there are no roads. So the issue of people saying that we need a road here because we are already economically empowered with our products and whatever, he said until we take infrastructure to those remote areas, we cannot be able to have growth. The potential of Kenya cannot be realized in those remote areas if we do not take infrastructure to them. And the easiest infrastructure to generate economic growth was the roads. And based on that, we had various meetings with the president, Mwai Kibaki, talking about where we want to get finances for road networks. And of course, the president was very generous with our requests. And why he was generous with our requests, because he had already seen what we are achieving with the money that was allocated, the budget that was allocated to us, and we would be able to even halfway ask for more, because we have depleted that year's budget, and the president could see the results that we were achieving. And one of the issues that we worked on, for example, at that time, it was, $1 million shillings was a lot of money.
Yes.
When we took over the ministry, 1 kilometer of tarmac road was about 60 million per kilometer.
60 million shillings.
60 million per kilometer. So when you worked on the bills of quantities and the proper design, the extra money was being voted in or designed for corruption purposes. We were able to come to a figure of 30 million per kilometer. The good road, the perfect road, highway, not, roads have got various categories.
You're talking about Class A?
Class A roads. We were able to come down to 30 million.
From 60?
From 60. And then the other thing that we told the president, or rather the president told us, do not award tenders if there is no money in the budget. Because if you do, you will end up with the pending bills. You will not be able to pay the contractors.
Yeah.
So just award tenders for the money you have. Once that money is used, come back, and then we'll allocate more money through supplementary estimates.
Very well.
So we were able to start infrastructure on a very high note. And the other thing that we agreed, both of us, Raila and myself, and remember the issue of cowboy contractors. He came up with the issue of cowboy contractors. We were able to agree that these people who are called cowboy contractors, they're only contractors we have in Kenya. We are not going to look for other contractors outside Kenya. So what we need is to manage these contractors. They are qualified. It's only that they were involved in some sort of corruption because everybody was corrupt in the road network. So you say, let us manage the contractors, and we agree that we are going to pay them. So we came up with a system of making sure the contractors are getting paid. To start with, we analyzed the certificates, the journey of certificates in the ministry.
The certification process.
Yes. So we find by the time the contractor has given his certificate, interim certificate, and by the time he is being paid, it was going through 26 steps. 26 stages. So contractor had assigned and employed people to be chasing certificates in the ministry. So Raila told me, can you deal with this? I remember calling a meeting with all the people. Everybody who signs on that certificate come for the meeting. And we were able to find most of them were busy bodies. They would like the certificate to pass through them so that they can be able to get something.
Very good.
We were able to reduce to 6 certificates.
From 26?
6 certificates, 6 signatures. And then from there, we told the contractors, do not come to chase any payment. You wait for your check.
It will find you where you are.
Yes, and because we were able to pay, because we had the budget, we were not advertising and issuing tenders where there is no money. So every contractor would be paid. Once you give your certificate, you would be paid.
Certificate of completion?
No, interim certificate, as you progress with work. Then the other decision we made, which was very key, there is no contractor who is going to get 2 jobs. So you get one, do not even tender for the next, you not get it. And if you want to get the second one, you have to be 70% complete on the first one. So that way, we were able to distribute work to as many contractors as possible. So there were no contractors who were complaining.
Yeah.
They would get they would win tenders, they would get paid, and you found now the road network took off in a big way.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, if you're just joining us, we're coming to you live from Broadcasting House, where we continue to give you end-to-end coverage of the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who passed on this morning. I have a team of eminent personalities who are joining me in studio and helping us guiding us in this conversation. I'll be coming back to them, but for now, I want us to listen to the presidential statement, which was issued about 20 or so minutes ago from State House by President William Ruto, and then we'll continue with the three guests. Yes, the third guest has joined us, and he has worked closely with the former Prime Minister, and he'll be giving us his side of the story and telling us who Raila was in his own eyes.
Fellow citizens, it is with deep sorrow that I inform the nation of the passing on of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, our former Prime Minister, Kenya's foremost statesman, and one of Africa's greatest sons. Kenya, Africa and the world mourn the passing on of a giant of democracy, a fearless freedom fighter, and a tireless warrior of good governance. Raila Amolo Odinga's name will forever be etched in the story of our republic, a story of struggle, sacrifice, courage, rule of law, hope, and of our pursuit for excellence. For decades, Raila dedicated his life to the pursuit of justice, equity, and freedom. He endured detention and persecution so that this nation might know and enjoy democracy. He championed reforms that gave birth to the rights and freedoms we hold dear today. His voice spoke for the oppressed. His conviction inspired generations, and his vision shaped the course of our history. Raila Amolo Odinga is truly a once-in-a-generation leader, a man whose ideals transcended politics and whose legacy will shape the destiny of Kenya for generations to come. A giant who towered for decades over our democratic landscape. He was a colossus of Kenya's modern politics, an indomitable warrior in our struggle for freedom and prosperity, and a statesman of boundless selflessness. In his passing, we have lost a patriot of uncommon courage, a Pan-Africanist, a unifier who sought peace and unity above power and self-gain, an unceasing servant of the people who gave his all to the promise of a better Kenya. On behalf of a grateful nation, I extend my deepest condolences to Mama Ida, his children, Rosemary, Raila Jr., and Winnie, the entire Odinga family, led by my brother, Oburu Oginga, to the leadership and members of Orange Democratic Movement, and to all Kenyans who share in this immense and immeasurable loss. In honor of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga's extraordinary contribution to our nation, I have declared a 7-day period of national mourning, during which the national flag shall fly at half-mast across the Republic of Kenya and in all our missions abroad. As a mark of respect, I have postponed all my public engagements for the coming days, and I ask all other public servants and leaders to do the same so that we can join the nation in this period of mourning and deep reflection. Our former Prime Minister, Raila Amolo Odinga, shall be accorded a state funeral with all attendant honors. In consultation with the family, a committee to be co-chaired by the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, and the Siaya Senator, Oburu Odinga, has been set up to coordinate the funeral arrangements. At the same time, the Government of India, at the request of the Government of Kenya, has offered to facilitate the repatriation of the remains of our former Prime Minister. Consequently, a delegation comprising government officials and family members, led by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, is leaving immediately for India to facilitate proper organization in the repatriation of the remains of our brother, the Honorable Raila Odinga. Other members of the delegation are Cabinet Secretaries Kipchumba Murkomen, Hassan Joho, and other ministers, National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, Minority Leader Junet Mohammed, and other members of the Odinga family, Jaoko Oburu Odinga, Kevin Obio Oginga, and others.
And Aida.
And Mama Aida herself, the family has finally decided that she will join those who will be going to recover the remains of the Honorable Raila Odinga. Fellow patriots, we have lost a beacon of courage, a tower of principle, and a father of our democracy. Let us come together as he always urged us to do, not as rivals, but as brothers and sisters bound by a shared destiny. As we mourn, I call on all Kenyans to reflect on his towering legacy and the lessons impacted by Right Honorable Raila Odinga's life, work, ideas, and example. In a political career spanning decades, Raila Amolo Odinga offered a compelling model of principled politics. And at a critical moment in our nation's journey, he always put Kenya first before individual or personal interest. May his soul rest in eternal peace. May God comfort his family. May God bless Kenya. I thank you.
Well, that is the official statement as read by President William Ruto, I beg your pardon, at State House earlier on, where he declared 7 days of national mourning, where the flags of the Republic of Kenya within the Republic will fly at half-mast, as well as our foreign missions abroad. A team led by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has already been dispatched to India for the repatriation process of the late Prime Minister. And of course, a committee has already been set up, which is going to be co-chaired by Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki, as well as Raila's elder brother, Oburu Odinga. And so we'll keep you posted on the latest. We continue to give you end-to-end coverage of the late Prime Minister's death here at KBC. And of course, I'm joined by eminent personalities who have worked with Raila Odinga in the past. We have Engineer Joshua Toro, who is a former Assistant Minister in the Ministry of Roads, and he deputized Raila Odinga from the year 2003 to 2007. As well as Leonard Kafafa, who has also worked closely with Raila Odinga on governance issues. We want to take you to the National Assembly, where Parliament is also about to speak. We're listening, and then I'm coming back to review our third guest, who is also close to the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Let's first of all go to Bunge.
And the sun shines daily on the mountain top. I took a trip on a sailing ship, and when I reached Jamaica, I made a stop. but I'm sad to say I'm on my way. Won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my head is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Kingston town. Sad to say I'm on my way. Won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my head is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Kingston town.
Limitation of debate. In this procedural motion, the leader let's now have a look at the businesses before the National Assembly this afternoon, among them being the report of the audited accounts for the Commodities Fund for the financial year 2018-2019, all the way to 2021-2022, this being a motion by the Chairperson, Special Funds and Accounts Committee. In this motion, the Chair on Matters Special Funds is seeking to have the National Assembly adopt the 5th report of the Special Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the report of the Auditor General